I got this thing somewhat disassembled. It has not been run in a long time, and it's just very dirty. I know this is nickel. We'll see if that cleans up. This check valve is not working. We'll see if we can free that up. And I don't know about if this thing is good. The generator. I might need a new generator, but we'll see if I can make it work. I think these originally had a Q99 generator. I don't know what this is. I'll see if I can get it figured out and dated. But let's see what we can do here. Alright, got a little cleaning mixture here. I'm just using citric acid and water. And we'll see what kind of particles that lifts off of it. I can tell it's already starting to work its magic here. I don't want to bring it to like a roaring boil, but I do want it to get nice and hot. I think I'm seeing some color possibly shine through on the top here. Alright, I can tell the cleaning solution is doing its thing, because I can kind of scrape off some of the dirt and grime that's been on here, collected on here for the past 100 years. So that's a good sign. Maybe this thing will clean up after all. I don't know. Part of me said to keep it, but I think they're just too nice to leave untouched here. But yeah, I could see that grime and grease and dirt is coming off now with the citric acid wash. Very exciting. Alright, got a couple parts here that are out of the acid wash. It's definitely brass or nickel over brass, but I can tell that the nickel is very thin in some spots here. You can see that the hint of the brass shining through, and this one, I really don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think this is all brass. I don't think there's any nickel really left, maybe a little bit on the top, but we'll see what happens on the buffing wheel. I'm going to go ahead and heat up some more water, do another acid bath for all the steel parts. That's 08. I don't know if that's August of 1920 or if O is the month of January of 1928, but it's definitely about 100 years old. I'm going to try to disassemble this burner and see if I get this guy cleaned up here. Alright, I got the burner disassembled. Use these pliers with the tape on it, and I believe these ends of the burner are brass, so those can get polished, and I believe the burner itself is cast iron or steel. So I'm gonna get that cleaned up, and then it's just time to take a look at this generator and see if I can get this guy to work. Alright, I am done with the acid bath. I'm ready to run up to work and give these things a buff and see if I can make them look a little better. Some of the steel parts I'm going to wire wheel. I was wrong about this burner. I thought it was steel. I think it might be brass. Looking at it, I don't think that's rust. Maybe it is. It's hard to say. That screw appears to be brass, which is interesting. But I could have sworn these things were steel. Maybe I was wrong. No, maybe that's cast at the top, but a brass burner. I don't know. But everything is disassembled. It's ready to be wire wheeled. I was able to free up this check valve, so I got that working. Maybe I could make that look a little nicer. And back in the 20s, they didn't really have rubber gaskets. It has a lead gasket, which is kind of cool. We'll see if that can seal up again. And once the pump arrives, I'll get this thing rebuilt and see if it can work. All right, so time to hit some of this stuff with the buff. Got my buffer set up here. It's working. Got some rouge and some buffing compound, and let's see if we can bring back some shine on this. And I'll try all the other parts as well. I don't know why I packed the globe, but get this guy going too. Yeah, this one's a little rough. This one might not clean up so good, but we'll see. So I've been doing my cutting with this stiffer wheel. I'm going to do my buffing with this finer wheel here. It's getting there. All right, done with the polish here. Went through a little bit. The fount did not really polish up great, but I think that's due to the fact that some spots on the fount are pretty thin, and I really didn't want to push it into the buffer and ruin it. The top here, the chimney, whatever you call it, it buffed out, but it has quite a few dents in it, you know, and they're a little bit more prominent as it gets shiny. But you could see where the nickel was chipped, and you could see it's peeling into the brass, but I wasn't sure if this was brass or steel, and it is brass, so that means it's definitely 1920s vintage. The burner came out pretty good, pretty happy with that. The top is actually brass. I thought it was steel, so that's interesting. And I got all this stuff kind of buffed out the best I could. I think it's time to go ahead and put it all back together. Okay, here's the lantern, all buffed up. I believe it's a 1928. So the fount is nickel over brass. I just have it kind of loosely together because I want to assemble it with some thread sealant. But it's looking really good. I'm very happy with it. If you look at the top, it has this nice stamping in it. The Coleman Lamp Company, Wichita, Kansas. Really pretty neat. I also like this stamp right here, Coleman Quick Lite. It says the sunshine of the night, I believe. Made in the USA. I think 0 of 8. I'm not sure if it's from 1920 or from 1928. I believe it's 1928 because most of the things on here point to later 20s rather than early 20s. But looking really good, very happy here. The patent on this is 1919. Really cool lantern. I can't wait to fire it up. I want to get a nice set of mantles on it, and I got to get an external pump to pump this guy, but very happy with that. It's cool. Oh, also, this is not the original globe. It originally had a mica globe, so I might see if I could find one of those on the line. See if I can use it. All right. All right, dirty dogs. This old lantern is pipe doped up and tightened up and back together. That's pretty cool. Only took like a couple hours of work, really. Sunshine of the night.